Hello and welcome to the Ally Invest Daily Service Show. Today on our show, our theme is how to add option and margin trading to your Ally Invest account. Sean Kund is with us, who is an Ally Invest trading manager. Sean will be highlighting how to add these features to your Ally Invest account. Now, with that said, our viewers are the ultimate drivers of the content of this show. If you have any general questions about the platform, please start by putting them in the chat box on the right-hand side of your screen. I have to point out that in general, for privacy concerns, we can only answer general questions about the platform. And please do not put in any personal information, contact information, account information. The goal of our show is to help out as much as we can in this open platform without compromising the security of your accounts. Now, we're going to be passing this over to Sean here shortly, but I do have a comment that was in the public comment section of last week's show. So we're going to start by trying to address that question. All right, Sean, here we go. So Fire Mip Spy, who is a frequent person, attendee of the show, says, I live in Hawaii. So this might be a time zone issue. And he goes on to say, when I sell a put, and it's in the money on Friday, it disappears from my account. The money used as collateral is freed up, and there is zero indication that I have been assigned on my put. I cannot see in my account that I've been assigned. At midnight, the assignment goes through, and the money is taken to buy the shares. So, Sean, why might this be happening to Fire Mip Spy?
Thank you, Brian. That's actually a timely question because we're going to be talking about options today, and we can illustrate this option level. But the aloha to our clients in Hawaii, and the issue is because of the time difference. There's a two-step process where first, expired options are removed, and second, assignments and exercises are actually allocated to accounts. Now, for most people, this occurs overnight while they're sleeping, Friday at midnight. But we do appreciate this question, and our team is researching how we can consolidate these two processes to improve your experience. I hope that helps.
All right. All right, Sean. So get your questions into the chat box right now, and we'll start to address them. But with that said, we're going to highlight how to add option trading and margin trading to your Ally Invest account if they have not been added already to your account. So back to you, Sean.
Thank you, Brian. So if you can see my screen here, I've got the test account up, and this will be familiar to people from last week. The gearbox, the gear that you see on the dashboard page. So we'll start, Brian, with adding margin. What you'll do here is click the gear. Now you want to select all settings. And you want to scroll all the way to the bottom here. Now, our test account has margin. If it did not, what you'll be doing here is clicking for the margin application, which you'll find right here at the bottom of the screen under the gearbox. Brian, would you like to talk a little bit about why individuals would want to add margin?
Oh, definitely. Okay, so as far as margin is concerned, this allows you to take basically a loan out against the securities that are already in your account. So because if you add this feature to your account, you can buy more than the actual cash in the account of a particular stock or ETF, even some mutual funds you can trade on margin in general. But mainly it's because you would like to leverage your account. And if you do that, we will give you a loan to be able to buy more shares than's possible in the account, but you will be charged a margin interest over the time that you have that margin debt in your account. Back to you, Sean.
Thanks, Brian. And margin works both ways. It can amplify your gains. It also could amplify your losses when you're borrowing money. You mentioned the accrual of interest. So yes, the interest accrues daily, but you're only going to see the entry for interest charged once a month on your account. So let's take a look where, if we can share the screen again, we'll look at the dashboard. Exact same location. Let's check our gearbox. All settings. You go to the bottom here. We've already added margin to this account. Let's take a look here at change my option level. Now, this account already has what's called level 3, which we're going to discuss, but let's see what happens when we go to change my option level here. Now, what you'll see here is choices for 3 additional option levels. You have a question for us, Brian?
Yeah, we have one that's popped up, but I think I'll let you finish this, Sean, and then we'll come back and we'll try to address Flywheel's question that's already in the chat box. So I'll let you finish the different trading levels for option trading to start with.
Okay. Would you like to start with option level 1?
Yeah, why not? I see that this is a level 3 trading, which is a very common level. A lot of people kind of get to that level and stop. But initially, when you're investing in options or trying to learn, level 1 would be the level that would be assigned to your account. So I'll let you talk a little bit about what you can do in level 1, Sean.
Sure. So since you mentioned level 1, that is what we see, and we see a common a question from our account. So level 1 is covered calls and cash secured puts. So what covered calls means is, quite simply, you own, say, 100 shares of a stock and you sell 1 call, which is that you're giving someone else the right to buy your shares at a predetermined price. And for that, you're receiving premium. The other reason why you would have level 1 would be for a cash secured put. That's a case where you say, look, I'd like to own a stock at a certain level. I'm willing to essentially sell insurance if this stock is to go down to a certain level. I'll be a buyer of that stock. And in return, I'm going to collect a premium, just like think of insurance again. I'm going to collect a premium for agreeing to buy that stock at a certain level. How about level 2? Dan?
Excellent. Okay. And then also, so level 1, when we say covered call writing and cash secured put selling, a lot of people ask the question, why can't I just buy an option outright? And ideally, these buying options outright can add more risk to your account than a covered call or a cash secured put. Those strategies are usually equated with owning the stock. So if I want to do a covered call position, what that means is I own 100 shares of stock and I sell a call saying that you can take the stock away from me at a certain price, at a predetermined price for a predetermined time. So by doing a covered call, you're just your risk is coming from owning the stock. And it's very similar to just stock ownership in general, in that you have the downside of owning the stock, you have limited and known upside, and you get paid now for saying that you're willing to sell your stock later. And how do you get paid? By selling that call. Cash secured put selling is very similar to that, in that I'm selling a put saying that if the stock comes down to a certain price, I would be willing to buy it. So level 1 deals with options centered around stock ownership. Now, the next level that I'll let Sean talk a little bit about will be level 2. And level 2 will allow you to buy option contracts. So now the approval for level 2, Sean, what exactly, how many years of trading do you need, and income requirements, stuff like that?
So Brian, for level 2, there is not an income requirement, but the important thing is that you need to have speculation listed as one of your investment goals. And the reason for that is, as opposed to level 1 that you mentioned, level 2 is you are speculating, making a directional speculation on a position. This is the most common call we get oftentimes in service about why a person can't place a trade, and that's because they've got level 1 and they think they have level 2. So that would be the most common reason there for the rejection. And what you're doing there is you're buying a call saying, I don't own a stock, I think it might go up, or you're buying a put You don't own a stock and you're thinking it'll go down. You're investing, but you're also speculating. So when you do apply for level 2, you want to be sure that you've got speculation listed as one of your goals.
All right, and I'm going to jump in here, Sean, because that kind of segues a little bit into an article that I've written. One of the things about option trading is that they are leveraged vehicles, and that if you use the leverage wrong, well, I shouldn't say wrong, you can use that leverage to speculate on your account. And I just put an article in the chat box that highlights some of the top 10 mistakes beginning option traders make. And one of the things, I'm not saying that this is a bad trade to do, but a lot of beginning option traders start out by buying out of the money, shorter term option contracts and buying a lot of them and adding a lot of leverage to their account because they don't understand that an option is priced differently than a stock. And because of that, well, I highlight in this document that I actually put, it's inside our Ally Invest community hub. And that in that document, we talk a little bit about buying out of the money calls as one of the bigger mistakes that a beginning option trader makes. And that's part of the reason why we have level 1 centered around strategies that help a stock portfolio versus level 2, which kind of addresses more the leverage factor. Now, you can change that leverage factor around by buying one option contract because you were going to buy 100 shares and limiting your risk to what you paid for it, as opposed to using it to increase the leverage in your account. So if you want to learn more, I'm just going to point you to that document that I just put in the chat box right now. Okay, so I think that's a good pause, Sean, right there. So let's jump in and try to answer the question that we have here. So let me grab this from our chat box. And we appreciate all the questions. Please get them rocking and rolling in the chat box. Any general questions that you have about the Ally Invest platform. So Sean, Flywheel says, can you trade bonds on the Ally Invest self-directed platform? And if so, where is the bond trading feature?
Sure. You can do that on our site as well. And I'll show you if you want to. So navigating again from the dashboard, just to the right of the dashboard is trading. And just like we did in the last episode with our drop downs for options and equities, simply select this fixed income. And this is where you can place your fixed income trades. You can both screen, if you know the QSIP, which is financial lingo for the equivalent of the ticker for a stock, or you could also use the screener as well. So the answer is yes, and it's just below where you do stocks and ETFs.
And we need to let you know that ICE Data or ICE Data Services is the provider of all the bond quotes and everything. This is an outside vendor that is providing these services for fixed income trading. But if you do have the QSIP, you can place a trade for a dollar amount. You can do treasuries, you can do minis, you can do corporates, you can do CDs across the board. All right, so Sean, let me get back and let me check the questions, see if we have anything more in here. All right, let's go back to option trading. So we finished level 2, and if I have a level 1 in my account and I was initially assigned, and I say that in quotes, with that level, what might I do to try to get to level 2 to be able to buy puts and buy calls overall?
Sure, that would just simply be going to since the requirement is, there is no requirement other than speculation. So it would simply be navigating back to that settings page, and you can apply online for that level 2, Brian.
All right, how might I do that? Let's run to the settings page and check it out.
Okay, we'll go to the dashboard again. And I'll go slowly here. Check that gear. Do you have another question for us, Brian, before I go there?
You go there and get that. We got 2 more coming in, so keep them coming, everyone.
Great.
We got a couple of fun ones to bring at you, but let's show them exactly how they might fill out that form to try to upgrade their option trading level. For lack of a better, I don't know if it's necessarily an upgrade, but put in for a higher trading level.
Okay, so in this instance, let's say we were going for a higher level. We wanted to go from, you asked me from 2 to 3, but in this case, let's go to level 4, if that's okay. And here they're going to ask you some information regarding your account status.
And this is a test account. I want to highlight that. So this is fake information that's in here. But yeah, we make it very simple for you. You just click that button, you click next, and before you know it, you have all your information that will be pre-populated for you. Mainly if you've already opened up a few accounts with Ally, we make it simple for you. And you just follow all the questions, and you go from page to page to page, and you submit it, and then it will be reviewed by our new accounts department and see, are you able to move up a level in your option trading? And over time, you can do this as many times as you'd like in general to try to, if you have learned more or you are interested in a new option trading level, this is the way that we're going to do it.
Thanks, Brian.
Any comments on that, Sean?
Yes, sir. You have a couple questions for us, Brian?
Yeah, I do. I got more than a couple now. That's great to see.
All right.
Okay. So put them in the chat box. Remember, only general questions about your account, no account specific information in the chat box. So Blaze Hawkins comes with 2. Okay. So first one, can I create a one triggers other order on the platform? That's the first question. So when I purchase a security, can I also set a stop loss for that order? That's a loaded question. So 2 and 1. So go ahead.
Okay. So the question was, when I place an order, I think they might be confusing one triggers the other with a plain old stop. So,
well, the question is between the two. So can I create a one triggers other? And the next question is, can I also set a stop loss for a stock that I just purchased?
Thanks for the clarification, Brian. So the answer would be, we do not offer one triggers the other, but we definitely offer a stop loss feature. So the way I would do what the questioner is trying to do is I would have a trade ticket, actually buy my stock if that's what they're trying to do. And then from there, I would go to the trading ticket and select either stop or stop limit. So it is a 2-step process. To answer the questioner, it cannot be done all in one trade ticket, but it can be done with 2 tickets. One is a purchase and one is a stop or stop limit here.
Right. And the vernacular that Blaze used was a stop loss. And it's commonly referred to that because most people that are using stop orders, it's not the only way they can be used, but most people that are using stop orders are doing it as a way to try to protect your portfolio, in particular, a stock that you own, from a continued downward movement in the marketplace. So in this instance, Sean, could you click on sell? On the trade ticket, you usually would have a sell stop, and that would be considered a stop loss. Those are sometimes those phrases are used interchangeably. But in this test account, it looks like there's some Apple in there. Not 100% sure, but let's pretend that there is. So you would do a sell, and then you could have a stop price below the market where it would be triggered, and then a limit price saying, I want to get at least this amount. So Sean, could you do an example of that using Apple? Let's pretend we have 100 shares of Apple in this test account right now.
Let's try, we have a test position. So let's try it this way, Brian.
Okay.
We have this test symbol here. So let's try it. And here's another way you can trade is directly from your holdings page.
All right.
Go here, we were to sell, this is a test symbol.
And I'm going to highlight that we did talk a little bit about this in last week's show. So if you want to go back and review it again, if you want more information, please feel free. Back to you.
That's a great spot to see a full order type summary. Okay, so we do own this stock. We'll call it the ZV, which is a test stock. You wanted to sell this with a stop limit. Looks like it's currently trading with a $9.99 bid. So we can either use the plus minus buttons, or in this case, I'm just going to type in the amount. And what this is saying here is I own the symbol ZVTTT. If it drops down to 950, I want to sell it with a limit of 9.25 or better. Let's see what the preview looks like here. There we go.
And Sean, why would I want to have the limit below the stop price?
So we went through this distinction in the last episode, and that's a very good question. If you just use a plain old stop, Brian, what you're saying is I have a market order. Once my stock goes to 950, I'm willing to sell it at the market, no matter what that price is. To answer your question, the reason you want to put a limit there is to ensure that you get a price of at least your limit. Now, you can't have both. You can't guarantee to sell your stock and also get a price. So in this case, you're saying if the stock was to completely collapse and go from, say, $9.50 to $8, you wouldn't be selling your stock at $8. You would have a live 9.25 limit.
Right. And let me just jump in and just say, when might that happen? On the open, right? So this is where the biggest things about stop limits and stop orders in general is they work better when the market is open, because then your order can react real time when it gets triggered. One of the problems might be in this Z stock, this test stock that we have, is that right now the market's at $10 and all of a sudden it opens up tomorrow and it's trading at $8 on the first print of the day. So in that instance, you might not want to just get out at market. And that's what a limit order is saying. It's protecting you against that big gap down on the open in general. So that's the reason why they have stop orders that will just get you out no matter what if it's below that certain price, and why they also offer a stop limit order. And these are being held by the exchange. They're watching them. They're seeing what's going on with the trade in general. And I do also need to emphasize that if you have a 925 limit, and let's say the market gets triggered at 950 and the best price available is 949, you're going to get 949. You're going to get 925 or better in that instance. So, or better is the vernacular that we use when you enter a limit into the marketplace. If there is a better market, we will execute it for you at that better market. We're going to try to do what's best for our clients in general. All right. Anything else to add to that one, Sean?
No, Brian, that's a good summary. Thank you. Okay.
So now if we come back, I'm going to get to you, Alexander. You got a great question, but I want to finish Blaze's question. Blaze says, is there a way to increase the amount of time that I can stay logged into the platform? So this is a great question for our little daily service show, because I'm sure a lot of people wonder that, Sean. So is there a place that you can increase it, and how might they be able to do that?
I know it's when in doubt, you hit the gearbox for all settings. And I have seen this here before.
I'm not 100% sure that's where it is either, though, but I like where you're going, Sean. I like where you're going. And I do know that I know that if you call the desk, you can go up to, because I have it in my account, where you're logged up to 3 hours before it will log you out. And that's inside the Ally Invest trading platform. The bank is totally different, but we're only talking about the Ally Invest trading platform. But I'm not sure where to do it inside the live account, and we can get that answer for you next week. You might have to call, right?
Yeah, we will get that answer. I know it's been done. It may be a manual process, Brian. I'm sorry, I don't have that answer.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. So now we addressed Blaine's questions. Let's go back to Alexander. Is cryptocurrency trading coming to Ally Invest?
That's a great question. it's something we are looking at. That's as far as I could expand on that. I can tell you that there are crypto stocks that we offer. Not making any recommendations, but we do offer stocks that have exposure to crypto. But as far as direct investments in specific cryptocurrencies, not something we offer now. It is something we're considering.
Right. And the stocks that Sean has mentioned are really mainly ETFs. There's a few ETFs that will invest in crypto, and you can trade them on the regular exchange. So as long as it trades on an exchange like the NASDAQ or the NYSE, then you can purchase that. And there are a lot of ETFs that have came around that actually track the crypto. But buying crypto outright, you cannot do right now at our platform, but we are definitely looking into it without a doubt. Those discussions have happened and are continuing to happen if we're going to offer direct trading of cryptocurrencies inside the Ally Invest trading platform. But for right now, the answer is no, we do not allow direct trading of currencies inside the Ally Invest platform. Okay, so, well, Dave is just kind of a follow-up. Why do we not have a trailing stop order being offered? I don't have a great answer for that, Dave, overall. I don't know. I'll let Sean opine on it also. But in general, we just have not made that feature available. I don't know of any plans to add it to the live trading platform inside. But I don't have a great answer for that overall. I guess, Sean, I'll let you opine on it, but we got quite a few more coming in.
Sure.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, I don't have any. Can't elaborate any further, Brian, other than the fact that we do make decisions. We want to have as many features as possible on the website, and this is just since there's a way to do what this customer is trying to achieve with 2 tickets. That's where we are at the moment.
Okay, so Blaze has another good question overall. Is there a way to purchase securities based on dollar limit versus shares? For example, buying of 225 shares at $4, or can I just buy $1,000 of that security?
Okay, that's a good question. So for stocks, it's always a share quantity on the trade ticket. For mutual funds, you're buying a dollar amount. So if the questioner is asking if I want to spend $1,000, I want to buy $1,000 worth of a stock, what you'll need to do is the work there. And it's not that difficult. Just take your $1,000 that you want to spend $1,000 on any stock, ZZVT, simply divide that by the market price. And that's going to give you a very rough, pretty accurate amount of shares that you can buy. So we could even, if you can see this screen here, the ZVTT last traded at $10. What you would simply do is take the amount of money that you had allocated, divide that by 10. That's going to give you a pretty accurate number of shares that you want to buy. And the reason I say pretty accurate is possible the stock could move between the times you used your calculator and submitted the trade. I hope that answers your question.
Yep, you did. And I do have to also highlight the fact that we've gone down the road talking about option trading, that if you are going to be trading options and adjusting your level, you need to read the options disclosure document, the characteristics and risks of standardized options. Now, I did highlight it in the chat box. I got a link to it, ally.com/invest/disclosures. You can find the document there if you would like to review that. So just get that aside. Let's go back in and answer a few more questions here. Is there a tool that allows us to see other stocks traded on other markets, like the European stock market, Asian stock market, etc.?
So at Ally Invest, you can only purchase domestic securities. But let's take a look and see what we can find in the markets section of research. And that's only going to give us the the domestic as well. So I thought you might see, let's take a look. We'll scroll a little further here. You'll get some international news. I see they're talking about the European markets here. So your best bet there would be to go to our research page, which again is right here. As far as specific quotes, it's going to be limited to our domestic stocks.
Right. So just in general, no, at this point in time, you can't buy foreign stocks through the Ally Invest trading platform, just in general.
Now, Brian, we do offer some foreign stocks which are denoted by the F symbol, F as in Frank. So while you won't be able to see the research page, there are foreign stocks, especially a lot of Canadian stocks that are denoted, by an F. F as in Frank. So you can purchase those, and there are a number of pink sheets. Like I know big foreign companies that trade with an F denoted. So for the most part, domestic, but there are some F stocks. We call them F in our business for foreign.
All right. Well, I learned something new today. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Okay. So now something a little bit about fractional shares. Any plans that you know of to add the ability to buy fractional shares in general?
I'm not aware of any plans there, Brian. I know it's similar to crypto, something we're considering, and we're always looking for more conveniences for what our customers are looking for.
All right, and then just a couple of comments, and I guess I'll just highlight them. That if you do, you can buy dollar amounts if you're looking at the mutual fund order ticket. But I do understand that it would be nice to have that feature inside the actual trading platform. The trading tab for stocks and ETFs. Right now, we don't have that available, but what Mazellam is saying that it would be nice to have a calculator that would do the reverse calculation as to what you actually described. Great suggestion. We'll think about it. And did we finish our option trading discussion? I think we did fairly well. We got a few questions coming in. Let's go back and talk a little bit more about option trading levels. Do we have any thoughts on that, Sean, or did you get through most of it?
Sure. Well, we covered the buying of puts and calls and cash secured puts. We haven't talked about spreads, which is option level 3. And I know that's your expertise, Brian, but I'll describe for the audience, a spread is a common spread will be buying a call and selling a call of a different strike price. You could also be buying a call and selling the same exact strike expiring with a different month. The same applies with more complicated strategies with what are called condors, where you're buying and selling both puts and calls. So these are, again, speculation. They also have income potential when you're selling option spreads. So that would be the next level 3. The riskiest is, I'm skipping 4 for a moment, but the riskiest would be 5 and 6, where you're buying selling uncovered calls. What that means is,
and I'm going to jump in there because in our platform it says naked calls, and naked calls is a little bit more of a jargony term. Uncovered is really what you would use if you're talking to FINRA, you're talking to the regulatory bodies. They would say it's an uncovered position in that you have substantial risk if you put on those trades. So very few and far between go to that level. But we do have some minimum equity, i.e. cash. Your account size has to be at a certain level in order to get approvals for those trading levels. So if you want to highlight that just a little bit, Sean.
Sure.
And then I got one more question for us here.
That's a very good point. So the riskiest of strategies, the uncovered calls, is a minimum equity of $100,000 in your account. And the reason for that is that your risk truly is unlimited. If you sell a call for a stock We know stocks can go, theoretically to infinity, whereas a put can only go to zero. And that's why we have that $100,000 account equity requirement, and also the requirement of 3 years of options experience.
All right. And we'll leave that there because that's usually for more advanced traders. So to get to those next levels, if you have a lot of questions, please call our service desk or chat us up in the chat box. That would be wonderful. We'll put that number, of course, in the chat box before we head out here. But with that said, while I'm doing that, I'm going to go back to Sean and ask him one good question from Todd that we have here. It's just good old Todd R here. Todd says, how do I find warrant symbols for SPACs? I'm glad I'm not answering this one. Is there a SPAC warrant, and how would I find that symbol? First of all, what's a SPAC, I guess?
Sure. So SPACs are very popular. It stands for a special purpose acquisition company. And what they are is companies that I like them by their other name, which is called blank checks. They are a blank check to go purchase a private company to take them public. But SPACs have two components. There's a equity component and a warrant component, which is what the questioner is asking us about. So we do have that available. It is going to require contacting us via chat or via phone. You can trade these warrants. It's eligible on our legacy, what's called classic platform. So we can enable you for that. Just please reach out to us in chat. We have your information in this question. We could even enable you there. So yes, it is available. It's available from our classic platform.
All right. Well, there's a couple of things that I've learned today. So thank you for that, Sean. So I think we have let's make this the last question. All right. So we have time for one more question. We got a very, very active group today. And all right. Well, I'll make this one the last question here, Sean. Okay. So Very simple, straightforward. Kristen is asking, how do I find my tax documents? What a timely question overall.
Very timely. I can help you with that. We're back on the familiar dashboard page. It's right here under your investment accounts. Tax Center. Scroll down, please. And if you select 1099 and other tax forms, you'll see your, now keep in mind, if you had an IRA, you're not going to have a 1099 unless you took a distribution or made a contribution. You'll have a 54, what's called a 5498. We anticipate you'll see those on June 30th. But as far as the navigation, it's investment accounts, Tax Center, and then forms.
Right. And do want to highlight, like a lot of questions that we get on the service desk are dealing with the fact that people assume that no matter what type of account, they're going to receive a tax document just because they have an account. But IRAs, as Sean mentioned, in particular, a lot of times don't generate any tax documents, mainly because inside an IRA account, all of the trading that occurs does not generate a 1099 or a 5498. The only thing that generates it is if you take money out, that's a taxable event. So then you receive a document from the IRS, I'll just call it a document. Or if you put money in, that's also a taxable event, and then you would receive a document. So there are some accounts that won't receive tax documents. And another thing is, if in your account you just have cash and you don't earn enough interest, and I'll let Sean speak to how much enough is, but in general, if there is not, if it's very, very minimal activity, you also may not receive a tax document. Do you know what that dollar amount is, Sean?
That's right, Brian. You caught me with a tax question. I'm going to say $25, but I'm not certain, Brian.
Okay, so if you have very low interest that is earned in general in the account, you might not receive a tax document for that. So very minimal activity, not enough interest earned. These are reasons why you may not have anything in here. So before you give us a call, think about that for a second and look at your transactions and see, was there a taxable event that occurred? And taxable is defined by what type of account that you are in. All right. So I hope that answered Kristen's question. In general, I think we did. We went a little bit further, took that to the next level, but that's all right. So with that said, I think that's going to be the end of our show today. What great questions from everyone across the spectrum. And we'll be back. Well, actually, this coming up Monday, we will not be available because it will be a market holiday. So we're not going to have our daily server show this Monday, but we'll be back in 2 weeks' time. And to make sure that you get all the alerts, you want to click subscribe and ring the bell, and we'll let you know when we have another edition of the Daily Service Show. Thanks for coming, everyone.
Thank you, Brian. Thanks, everybody.